Tough times reflected in Oregon's 2026 cost of living report.
$39 trillion is the new.
Hold on.
Would you pay $60 for one steak? I know I sure wouldn't.
It's official, the 2026 cost of living increase for Social Security.
According to the Congressional Budget Office, the United States has been borrowing about $50 billion every single week for the past 5 months. Let that sink in. $50 billion per week. In just the first 5 months of fiscal year 2026, the federal deficit has already grown by another $1 trillion. $1 trillion in 5 months. And now the total national debt is approaching $39 trillion. And here's what should really piss you off. Just paying the interest on the debt costs taxpayers $433 billion in the same 5 months. Not the debt itself, just the interest. Experts say interest payments could hit $1 trillion a year soon, and $2 trillion annually within a decade. That is not sustainable, because the more money the government borrows, the more taxpayers have to pay just to service the debt, meaning future budgets could be dominated by one thing: paying interest on money we already spent.
Let me tell y'all how expensive it is to live in Washington. I'm in the medical field, right? Been in the medical field almost 10 years, and I can honestly say for the first time I make pretty good money. I have 2 side businesses. I have an organizing business / cleaning business that I do, and I have an online store where I sell products. I don't have any kids, and I think it's still time for me to get a second job, a little part-time job, because the cost of living is just too fucking high. Why I want $2,000 for a 1-bedroom? Why does a pack of ground beef cost me $10 for a pound of ground beef? Beef, one of the cheapest fucking chicken wings are $20+.
So, Trump's approval ratings are in the dumps, 31% now. He tweets out last night, I don't know why these blah 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 aren't feeling more grateful after all the things I've done for them. So apparently he has a disconnect with regular people and billionaires. He doesn't understand that Americans are concerned about the high cost of health insurance that's about to occur after the new year. How most people's plans will probably be doubling the health care. He doesn't understand how food has gotten expensive, how our auto insurance has gotten expensive, how our home insurances have gotten expensive. He doesn't quite understand these things. Meanwhile, the money that our taxpayer money, he's sending, 80 billion, 40 billion, 80 billion to Argentina. He's sending, he gave one of his sons a $680 million Pentagon contract. What he knows about the Army, I don't know, but gave him a contract. He's occupying the international waters right now, bringing this ship in, that ship in, this warship in, this warship in. All of this costs money. All of that costs money. But yet he has no empathy for the American people. The American people pay everyone's health insurance that serves in Congress, Senate, House, and even his health insurance. We pay that, but we are not entitled to any health insurance. Reasonable health insurance. They get their health insurance for life. Even if when they leave office, they still got health insurance. They get their pensions. Marguerite Taylor Greene, her pension, she gets a pension after 5 years. After 5 years, she gets a pension. So why wouldn't she retire? Why wouldn't she retire? Why wouldn't she resign? Your health insurance for your whole family is for life. But we get nothing. There are people who are on fixed incomes. They can afford their health insurance to double. They can't afford for their mortgage insurance to go up. They cannot afford for their car insurance to go on. Fixed incomes. What is this going to do to people? What is this going to do to people?
Tough times reflected in Oregon's 2026 cost of living report. Data collected by State Treasurer Elizabeth Steiner shows financial hardship is growing more common.
And we're just all confused and just trying to survive out here.
73% of Oregonians report cutting down on expenses to pay for food. 53% say they still struggle to pay bills.
We got to prepare for the times we're in. Just shop smarter.
I can't even shop in my own neighborhood anymore. All the stores like in Portland are really getting out of hand. Like groceries, when I went last time, when I tried to get a pack of strawberries, it was like $7 to $9 at all the stores for one pack of strawberries.
Treasurer Steiner says nearly half of Oregonians can't afford a $500 emergency and might turn to credit.
By the end of the month, they've run out of money until they get their next paycheck. And so as a result, more Oregonians are using credit cards to pay for essential things like food or gas or utility bills.
The report shows debt is at an all-time high, as are interest rates. Bankruptcy filings increased 25% between 2024 and 2025.
The more things happen like what's happening in the world now, it's going to get higher.
We could go over to the comment section, and those strawberries she was talking about molded the day after you got home. FYI, Winco does not accept credit cards as a form of payment, probably so they could dodge these surcharges that the credit card companies have. But as they were talking about in the clip, most people are turning to credit just to stay afloat to buy the necessities you wouldn't be able to use it in the store.
This is what the cost of living crisis looks like. My 2026 life is exactly the same as my 2025 life, except that it costs $400 more per month. And that's because my health insurance went up by $200 a month. My home insurance went up by $30 a month. Gas has gone up almost $1 per gallon in the last 3 weeks alone. Groceries are more expensive. Electricity is more expensive. And none of these increases are my fault, and they're not your fault either. None of this is because I'm bad with money or I'm spending too much on avocado toast. I'm doing all the things I'm supposed to be doing. I'm cooking at home. I am doing low-cost hobbies like hiking and biking. But when costs go up and random stuff happens, like a leak in my roof, that means I have to pay more. This is unsustainable for the vast majority of Americans. And while I absolutely believe that an individual has the power to change their life, I also think we need to be realistic about how systemic this cost of living crisis is. In order for things to change, we need top-down change.
Hey, Lord, come on, God.
Would you pay $60 for one steak? I know I sure wouldn't.
Please help me understand, when was a box of cereal $9.29?
$33 for toilet paper? We can't even afford to shit.
There is no way that a bag of Tostitos are $6. Oh, 2 for $8. Ooh.
This is crazy. $9.49 for frickin' garlic powder.
Just look at what I got for $100 frickin' dollars.
Guys, I have never fucking seen this before. They have security tags on the fucking steaks, bro.
30 packs of Coke are now $50. Or you can get a 24 pack for $24.75.
$6.15 fucking cents for a half a pound of Greek hot sweet peppers. What the?
Social Security just announced the 2026 cost of living increase, and it is going up 2.8%. So that means that every Social Security check, including retirement and disability, will rise 2.8% in January of 2026. So this may sound small, but this increase really is meant to keep up with inflation. The average SSDI check will rise from $1,586 to $1,630 per month. That's about an extra $44. So if you get $2,000 a month now, you'll get roughly $2,056 starting in January. And if you want to know what this COLA means for you, whether you're on disability, SSI, or retirement, follow me because I'm breaking down exactly how these new numbers affect each group in a series of videos. Now, are you happy with a 2.8% raise, or do you think it's not enough to keep up with these prices? Tell me in the comments and make sure that you're following so that you don't miss the next breakdown.
I made a video recently talking about my 2026 financial goals, and one financial goal that I forgot to even mention is I want to lower my cost of living. My cost of living is crazy, at least for me. I know other people are paying way more than I'm paying, and I don't want to sound ungrateful because I am grateful to have the little tiny box that I live in, roof over my head, a fridge in here, I have a washer and dryer that's going right now, like truly blessed and beyond grateful. But I just added up how much I paid in rent from January 2026 from January 2025, and I paid $21,540.93. Now this does include like pest control and all the other little fees that they add in there. That is not just for rent, but I've got to figure out how to lower my cost of living. It's getting out of hand. I am locked into this lease till late September, early October, so I can't get out of this lease until then, and I know it costs to move, so I don't know. I'm like, I either need to make more money or lower my cost of living because it's getting out of hand. I can't take it anymore.
I get an email back today to be like, sorry, you're not qualified enough for this role. I'm actually overqualified for this role. Everything you're asking in this role, I have done plus tenfold, and you're saying that I'm underqualified. I don't know what to do. Like, society is fucked. No matter what I apply for, I can't get a role. I can't get an interview. If I do get an interview, it's great, and they interview me to say, or they email me to say that they enjoyed having me as an interview, you were outstanding and all this stuff, but we're going to go internal, which is great. Fantastic. Go internal. But then there's no feedback. And even on the other interviews that I've had that I genuinely thought I did, and I was good, did it all right, did good. Crystal can't English today. And there's no feedback. I don't know what to do anymore. Like, no matter how hard I try, I am now going to end up like my mother of being overqualified and not having a job. And I don't want to do that life. I don't want to have that life. I don't want to be a house mom or a housewife. I've always call it the eldest daughter in me that I am a strong and independent woman that, yeah, I don't know. I'm really at my wit's end when it comes to applying. And the only reason I'm applying for half of these roles, despite the fact that I am overqualified, is so I can at least get my government payment to live. And even still, it's not that much of a livable wage. Considering how much debt I am, and unfortunately in, and I am trying to pay back my debt, and I just physically can't. Because I don't earn enough. And come tax time, I will still probably get taxed a shit ton and have to pay tax. Yeah. Anyone want to help a girl out?
$39 trillion is the new U.S. debt. Today, Brent crude was at $119 a barrel. Gold plunged a negative 5.82%. Silver a negative 7.97%. Bitcoin plunged a negative 2.54%. Yesterday, the Dow was down over 700 points. Today, it's down another 203 points. Gas is now an average of $4 a gallon. If you live in Las Vegas, it's over $5 a gallon here. And diesel is even more expensive, which fuels your trucks that take everything to the store. It's the highest gas price since March 2022. Don't forget, in 2022, gas went up during COVID and when Russia first bombed Ukraine. We are day 33 of the government shutdown. TSA is in 2+ paychecks of not getting paid, and the airports are disaster. All right, this is the doozy. Day 20 of the Iran war. Yesterday, Congress held a secret meeting to request another $200 billion for the Pentagon budget for the Iran war. Today, Pete Hegseth said, quote, "We need the right amount of money to kill people," end quote. We have already spent $2 billion a day, so approximately $30 billion with no hope in sight, and we're losing. If you did not know, we already budgeted $900 billion for the military for the year, the largest budget for the military ever. Home foreclosures are skyrocketing. Unemployment is skyrocketing. Job loss is skyrocketing. If you found this post sad but informative, please like, comment, follow, and share. Hi, this is March 13th, 2026. This is your update on the economy. We are spending $2 billion every single day of your taxpayer dollars for the Iran war. Number two, the GDP was revised down from a dismal 1.4% only in the fourth quarter of 2025 to 0.7%. If you don't think that we're not in the middle of an economic collapse and that a war of this magnitude will not absolutely crush the American economy, you are not paying attention. In addition, don't forget all of those U.S. bases in the Middle East that have been hit and damaged or obliterated. It's going to cost trillions of dollars. And then guess what? We just put boots on the ground. Yeah, we could leave Iran. We can leave Iran. But we have certain people in office that won't. But guess what? 65% of the military and their families voted for this. Yeah, they did. This is attack number 8 from the president of peace and no new wars. Yeah. Do you think he should lose his FIFA Peace Prize? Yeah, he wanted the Nobel Peace Prize. Can you believe it? If you haven't called or emailed your elected officials, you really should be blowing up their phone. We are also spending we're borrowing $50 billion a day for the last 5 months. Yeah, that's according to the U.S. Treasury Department. 6.7% unemployment in Washington, D.C. We are in very, very big trouble in the United States of America, in the U.S. economy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm talking something you and I have never seen in our lifetime. And I want you to remember, this is all 100% self-inflicted. Self-inflicted, 100%. If you found this informative, like, comment, follow, and share for more.
This is what I think 2026 will be in regards to the cost of living crisis. Now, I am not an economist. This is purely based on my observations and something to do for fun, to know if you're right. Plus, most economists get this shit wrong anyway. So first things first, for 2026, I believe the cost of living crisis is going to reach a turning point. What I mean by this is that it has been a couple of years now that we've had this, and each year I believe it's hitting more and more families each year that this keeps on going. What I feel is going to happen in 2026 is that people are going to start being more money conscious. Because I do love shopping, what I have seen throughout, I would say, the last decade is that people have just been purchasing things purely because they want to and they can, which has changed the way that businesses run. Instead of businesses running purely because they want to give a good product to consumers, they're doing it for cash grabs. So what I believe that's going to start happening in 2026 is that since more people are going to be more money conscious, it's going to be very difficult for some businesses to be competing or achieving past revenue and profit margins. With this, hopefully the whole business idea resets and it starts becoming better products that actually suit consumer needs. Just to add to this, for me, I could kind of see more of the middle class retail shops or even services going to start to decrease. So think of shops like Swarovski, not exactly low end and also not exactly high end. I'm going to put it out there as well. Uber Eats, things that are more targeted towards middle income earners to start actually decreasing revenue, as people are going to start looking more towards cheaper options. I also think that we're going to step out of the world of convenience. We paid a lot for convenience, however, now we're going to go back to paying for value and quality. What do you think 2026 is going to look like in regards to the cost of living?
It's official. The 2026 cost of living increase for Social Security has been announced, and it means that 75 million Americans are going to get an increase of 2.8% in their Social Security checks for 2026. If you need help figuring out your Social Security, preparing for Social Security, getting educated about Social Security, I got you. Just go to hersocialsecurity.com. And you know what? You can also download my free Social Security decision tree at the links in my bio. All right, here's to getting her done. Oh, and if you were wondering, I was putting this Better Alt honey in my coffee. This is a cinnamon flavor, and you can check it out in my TikTok shop. I put all kinds of random stuff that I find, that I curate, and that I vet, and I feel are good for you products. So go check it out. It's called Better Alt, and it's yummy, good for you honey.